Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, all my friendly neighborhood caffeine addicts and craft addicts alike. This is Shasta coming at you from the Caffeinated Craftaholic, and I thought we would just get on here and just do a little bit of slow crafting today. It's a rainy day here where I'm at in Georgia, so you know what better way to pass the time than to get together and put together a little craft project. So as you see, we've got a beautiful vintage ornament. This is one of those satin thread ornaments. It was made in Japan. It had lost its little hanger, and I kept it in a box. I have actually found 3 of them in a box, and they were still in excellent condition. So I've coveted those for years, and now I'm finally making use of them. We have a bottle brush tree. Even though it is not Christmas, we're getting close to Easter. I use bottle brush trees all year long, y'all, in whatever decor style I'm doing. If it's Halloween, I do black and orange and white. If it's Easter, like it is now, or getting close to Easter, I do pastels. And sometimes I sell them after the holiday, and sometimes I hang on to them and just put them up in a cabinet to reuse year after year and add to my collection. So I thought we would get together and just show you how to assemble a bottle brush tree assemblage. I guess that's what you would call it. I have this ball here that kind of goes, it's a 3-piece set, so the colors coordinate really pretty together. And so I thought we would make this one together today so you could see how this is made in case you want to make one for yourself. So you could just find any ornament that you like, paint it or decoupage it. And I'm going to show you some of the materials I used to create this guy here. And we'll set him to the side for our inspiration and move along to what we've got. Okay, so we have I'm using a little dessert dish here to hold my ball. We have our Dollar Tree tree here. Actually, our $1.50 tree here. And we're just hoping that this guy will come off easier than the last one did, because let me tell you, the last one was a pain in the tush to get off. So we're just gonna wiggle it back and forth, and it does take a minute to get that wire to snap, but as you can see, it eventually will give way here. We're just patient, and there we go. And you have a clean break. You have a little bit of giblets left over on your stand, but we're going to reuse this another time and another project down the road one day. So then we have our bottle brush tree, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to find the top of our ornament, which we know this one was the top because that's where the little hanger used to be. And we're going to find a spot there that we're comfortable with. Hopefully not knock off any of our little pearls. And we're just going to add the hot glue to the top of the ornament, because if you add it to your bottle brush tree, these guys are made out of plastic. And I'm going to show you what's going to happen here. Whenever we add that hot glue to the ornament top, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it up close, but when that glue touches those ornaments, see how they're shriveling and shrinking, and I'm not moving that tree, it's doing it all by itself. But you see how those branches are kind of like contracting in on themselves. That we don't want that to happen, you know, too much on our tree here. So I'm just going to hold that in place, let it dry. Then we're going to shoot a little bit more glue up in there to hold it into place. This is a little bit more of a time-consuming, long craft project, unlike some of the other ones that I've done on here in the past. This is going to take, you know, a couple minutes to do. So if you haven't got yourself a cup of coffee yet, you might want to do that. Oh, this is giving me a fit here, y'all, to hold up. Now I'm just gonna kind of set it to the side here. Let that dry for just a second or two. Prop it up there. There we go. Okay. So I raided my stash and I found, now this tree here, as you can see, I had some beautiful white pearls, a strand of them, and they were just costume jewelry, and I cut them apart and, you know, placed them in different areas on this tree here. But my luck ran out and I had no more white pearls in my stash. So what I had to do was I had to improvise. So we are going to just go with the flow and improvise here, and we're going to use these pretty light pink pearls to wrap around the tree. I have these pearls actually are from Dollar Tree. I've got 2 different sizes in here. These are from the floral department. I had some tinsel from a leftover Dollar Tree Christmas sign that I took apart that we're going to use somehow. I have this beautiful gift tying tinsel. This is vintage, and I cut off a little piece of that to use. And we have Thrifted napkin rings. I got a whole bag of these. There was 8 of them in the bag, and I got the whole bag for 99 cents with a half off coupon. So I paid 50 cents for 8 of these guys, and they're wrapped in this beautiful like velvet Chanel elastic type cording that just coordinates with these ornaments that I have in particular just really beautifully. The base of this ornament is actually an empty ribbon spool. Okay, so all I did was I painted this spool in a coordinating color. I just used ivory beige. This is called Creamy Chamomile from Hobby Lobby. It's 49 cents a tube, cheaper than Walmart now. So I grabbed this and I painted my spool a base coat because I'm going to cover it with paper, and I want the color underneath not to bleed through so much and show through that paper. So I went ahead and painted the spool in this color because it kind of coordinates with the paper and the pattern that's on there. And I added a little bit of that same paint around the edging just to kind of darken that edge and give it a little bit of a weathered look, a vintage type of weathered look. What's left, I collected several different shades and colors of ribbon. Some of them I bought new, a couple of them are from Hobby Lobby. There's a couple here from the Dollar Tree. This one I thrifted. So just some coordinating ribbon that you like that's going to go with the style of decorating you like to do. And last but not least, I have this beautiful tassel fringe that I thrifted in a bag. And I think I got like 5 or 6 or 7 remnants, you know, for like 50 cents at a thrift store. So I just cut a little piece off of that, and we're going to use that as well. So let's see if our tree has glued down firmly enough. It looks pretty good. It's going to stay on there. See, it's not moving around. So we're going to go with that and add some more glue in there as we progress on, and make sure that it just stays intact really, really well. So I'm just going to shoot just a little bit up in there. I know it's going to make, see, watch those branches. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it makes those branches just kind of shrivel up in there. See how it does that? It's kind of freaky looking, but we don't want the whole tree doing that. But this bottom part, we're going to cover it over with this tinsel, so you're not going to see the bottom it being ugly too bad. So, but we're going to do that last. So after you get your tree glued onto your bauble, whatever kind of bauble you have that you like, that you want to you know, decorate with, if you have something special, or maybe you thrift something, maybe you painted a bauble and it's like custom to your colors or whatever style of decorating you like to do. All that's fine and dandy. We're just gonna get our little ribbon scraps here. I've already cut pieces off. As you can see, I have a whole little collection going here of all these different colors and textures of ribbons. So we're just going to pull all those to the side. And what we're going to do is I cut all of the ribbons at an angled edge. I don't know if you can see that. You see my paint on my hand. You can tell I've already painted. So we've got all the ribbons that are cut at an angled edge, except for the pink ones. The pink velvet ones, I painstakingly cut them in an angled dog-eared look, because if you look very closely at these vintage ornaments, that original velvet ribbon on there was already dovetailed on the ends. So I just thought that was a nice little touch, and I'm going to try to emulate that with that darker pink velvet that I have. Scooch the camera just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, this is like, there's no rhyme or reason to how we're going to do this. I don't really want to cover up my little pearls too much if I can keep from it. See, there's little pearls studded around on my ornament. I want to be able to see those a little bit if possible without obstructing the view of that. So we're just going to I may not glue all these ribbons on because it does take quite a bit of time, but you can kind of get the gist. We're just doing the flat end and leaving the pretty end to go up in, to go hang down over the end of the bauble and kind of drape on that there. So here's a lighter pink. And I can go in and tuck all these ribbons in at a later time, a later date. I just kind of wanted to give you a show of what that's going to eventually look like when we get all that glued in there. Okay. So now that we're just going to pretend that we have all of our ribbons glued in there, and they look beautiful and wonderful, and we love the placement and we love how they look, and we're just going to now take this glitzy over the top gaudy tinsel, and we're going to run a very small little bead of hot glue right there, because this stuff actually melts too if you're not careful. So we're going to find that bead in there, and we're just going to wrap it around the bottom. And you only have to put the one bead to start it out to hold it, and we go around it 2 times if you have enough. If you don't have enough, 1 time will do just fine. You don't have to worry about it. Put another little dollop of glue up inside there. You know you got it in there when you see those branches starting to melt away and contract in. So all right, there we go. So now we have our glitzy, gaudy, glam, there we go, tinsel in there. And at the end of this, we're going to go back in and we're going to tuck those ribbons up inside there where you won't be able to see them. So, all right, now we've got that piece in there. We are going to take our pearls now, and we're just going to find a nice place up here at the top somewhere and find a good starting point and kind of just wind. We don't want to push these too far back inside the tree because then it'll crush your branches. But we're just kind of going to steadily and evenly wrap this going all the way down. I'm sorry if I'm getting out of frame. It's hard for me to work and see the camera and do all this at the same time. But there we go. All right, so now we have a finished spot right here where we can put a little bit of glue in there. Gonna go back to the top, and we are going to find our starting point way up here and just put a little bead of glue right up there to hold our first pearl. Now, if you decide you want to take this off later on at another time, you may lose that little first pearl there when you pull it out, but the rest of your strand should be pretty well intact. Won't have any damage to it. I'm going to take this last pearl strand here. See how all that's caving in there? You got to be very careful with hot glue with these trees. And we're just going to find that dollop and set it right in place. Now, if that pearl is, you know, not perfect and not where you exactly want it to be, it's okay. We're going to come back and we're going to fix it. So don't panic and don't be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. That didn't line up perfectly. You can always put that to the back too. Nobody will ever know. All right. So now we have our pearl strand. Now, this is the part that sometimes gets you because we're going to have to glue all these little individual pearls in there, and it is a pain in the tush. So, oopsies, I keep dropping. My ribbon's going everywhere here. So we're probably not going to do every single one of these pearls because I am still learning how to edit my videos. Oh my gosh, see, accidents happen. We just had a minor accident. So we're just going to pop it right in there. The little ones are a little bit harder because that glue really wants to get on your fingers. Hopefully I'm staying in frame and you guys can all see this. Pop it right in there. It doesn't take a lot of glue. And see, we're just going to do that all the way around our tree until we have it, all the pearls in there. Now you can use different color pearls, you can use different color beads, you can use pieces of broken jewelry, whatever you like to decorate your item, whatever it is. So the next part of this little project, rather than gluing the napkin holder, napkin ring onto the ornament first, it's much easier if you take your whatever finishing piece you want to take and put that on there before you add it to your tree, because once you add it to your tree, it's kind of hard to work around and get all your pieces together in there. Again, we go all the way to the top edge and just secure it in place with that hot glue. Again, this is not rocket science, y'all. It is time consuming, but I think once you do one of these and you get the gist of how to kind of put them together, you will be totally addicted. I know that I am. I love to make bottle brush trees, assemblages, and crafts, because I think that they're just so whimsical and just give you that vintage nostalgia of Christmases back in the Victorian era and years ago. And so there we go. I don't know if you can see this well enough, but this is our little Christmas tree stand, as it were. And now that we have this glued, we can put this on the bottom of our tree. You just stand it right there. Put our little hot glue bead all on there. Okay. Had to reload the glue gun, y'all. And we're going to find the bottom center and just pop it right on. Easy peasy. And I don't know if you can see that in camera. I'm getting it out of focus here. I'm sorry. But we just pop it right in there. And once we have that in place, we need to add some weight to the bottom of this contraption here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give the bottom of this a nice heavy, oh gosh, I keep getting out of frame, a nice heavy shot of almost a whole glue stick's worth of hot glue to just dribble down inside there. And as it dries, it's going to give you some weight to hold your ball in place. I don't know if you can see it, but we got glue all inside. I need to add a little bit more right here. Get it in there. Okay. It's so hard to get it in camera here. All right. So we're going to leave that to dry just for a second. Now, we're coming to the end of this journey, sort of, at least what we're going to do on camera. For the bottom of this display here, I have pulled out 4 of the large pearls. You can use whatever type of beads, or I mean, you can use little wooden beads and paint them, or leave them plain, or use Jenga pieces, or use, I mean, there's so many different things that you can use for your feet. You can use dice. You can, ouch, oh my goodness, I just grabbed that. See, this is, I'm showing you what you don't do, like firsthand. And I lost my little, oh, there they are. There we go. So we're going to take these painted discs. This is just scrapbook paper. And I have added, like I said, some of that paint that I painted this spool with. It's just a plain old ribbon spool. Added some paint to it, and I am just going to give it a little shot of Mod Podge there. Look, we are using the tricks of the trade here. A finger works just as good as a paintbrush, so we are going to go with the flow. Pop it right on top, slide it around until you get it on there. Placement's good. Flip it over. Same thing to this side. That's going to create a cute little base. Get it all the way to your edges so your edges don't pull up. If I can find a paper towel here laying around. There we go. All right. So we have our, scooch this to the edge here before it dries too much in place, and get all of our edges covered. Just, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is a handmade craft. All right, now that we have this glued in place, we are going to, make sure your edges stay down, cut another piece from scrapbook paper. Any kind of coordinating color pattern that you like that fits with your ribbons and whatever you're going to do. I chose this, like, it's a mahogany burgundy color, wine color, and I cut it to fit my ribbon spool. I measured the width and the dimensions off of a piece of ribbon that came off of this spool, so I would know that I was getting the right measurements. And we're just going to tack it down with a little tiny bit of hot glue right there in place. You only need it in one spot, beginning and the end. Nobody's going to see it anyway, so there we go. See there? There's barely any gap. Nobody's going to notice it. And if they do, tell them they can go down the street to Walmart if they don't want something handmade. So that's what I've got to say about it. So there's our little stand. Now we've got 4 of these lovely large pearls. We're going to glue them at, imagine, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock on a clock face. Okay, we're going to pretend this is a clock face. So you want to glue a pearl at 12 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock. And that will give you a balanced base that's not going to fall over, topple over, or look wonky. That, again, it doesn't have to be exactly exact, but you see what I'm doing with it. Okay, and flip it over. Now you got a riser with a footed base. And last but not least, oh, I forgot about that pretty little, goodness me, where's it at? Oh, here we go. Forgot about this pretty little piece of vintage gift wrap garland. We're just going to add this right around the top of that to kind of see how this is kind of a little bit, I don't want to say it's ugly, but it looks unfinished. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of hot glue at the beginning and at the end. You don't need it all the way around unless you just like to do overkill, which is totally fine. I'm all about overkill sometimes. So just find your start, glue it down, go all the way around, hold it down so it doesn't fall. Oopsies. Keep getting out of frame. Go all the way around. Oh, and look what happened. We got it too short. I cut it too short. So that's okay. We can fix mistakes. So we're just going to pop it down there again, hold it in place. Let's see if this skewer will help me so I don't burn my fingers again. I really like to have fingerprints. Okay, hold that down there just for a second, and then we're going to cut off another teeny tiny little piece for our whoopsie here. I didn't measure it. Again, I should have. Didn't measure it. Oh my goodness, this keeps popping up. There we go. Perfect. So we got some in that one. Let's put a little bit more over here to make sure this is going to stay down. There we go. Let that hold down there. And whenever you get done, you have to come back behind yourself and get all these little spider webs of glue off of your little creation here so that it doesn't look like a hot mess. Okay, there we go. That's better. Squeeze it into place. And now we have that done. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do is how we added that hot glue inside there before. We're going to add some more hot glue. Just like really give it a good dousing in there, because this hot glue, while it's still hot, is going to run down from the inside, and it's going to coat your stand and adhere your hot glue to your stand. So just find your center as best as you can. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You got a couple of seconds to maneuver this. I'm trying to show, and it's not. There we go. So you have a couple seconds to maneuver it. Again, I'm showing you all the things not to do by in my own video. So you have to be patient. Hold it while it's curing and cooling. You can get those spider webs off later. And we still have to go back and add in our pretty little finishing touches, our ribbons. And what we're going to do with this last little bit, we have to finish off. Now, remember, we put this up here to give this a more finished look. But down here, it kind of looks like this is not finished now. So what we can do is just take this pearl trim and give it a little border at the bottom there. See that? And that will help to finish off the look at the bottom. And it'll carry that little strand of pearls that we wound around the tree. Kind of bring your eye down so that you notice the stand at the bottom as well. So it kind of all coordinates and ties in together. And now we have our finished, not exact measurement, but close enough for, what's that old saying? Close enough for government work. And we're just going to tack that down with some glue. Now on my first tree, I'm not going to do this on camera because it is really, really messy. And I still have a lot to do before I can add that glitter on there. I still have glue that's wet and paint that's wet. And anyway, so what I did on this tree was I used a little paintbrush, and I went around my edging on my ribbon spools with Mod Podge just a little bit at a time, and I sprinkled it with a fine gold dust glitter that kind of just gives it a little bit of, you know, sparkle, and also it kind of hides that edge just a little tiny bit and makes it a little bit more fancy. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I thought it was a nice little extra pizzazz on that pretty little base. So that's how we did that one. And this one is, you know, still has a little bit of work left to be done to it, but it's going to look pretty close to the same as the other one when it's all finished. And they can be displayed side by side as a pair. If I get all three of them done, I'll display them all together on my Easter table with all my other pastel vintage tchotchkes and things that I've collected and like to display over the years. So with that, I hope that y'all enjoyed the craft. I'm sorry that I got out of frame so many times and wasn't able to give you guys the best production here ever on the face of the planet, but it is what it is until I learn this new technology and venture for myself. Being 50 plus is, you know, it's a whole new world out there for us people in that age group. So I hope that y'all had a nice time. And with that, I'm going to love you and leave you.